Hi there, it's Nichol Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today I have some coloring over an ink blended background featuring the Simon Says Stamp and Pinkfresh Studio exclusive limited edition stamp set. This is the gorgeous You Are Next Level Amazing stamp set. There is coordinating dies that work with this, although I'm going to be creating a one layer design today, and I'm also going to be featuring the gorgeous brand new Simon Says Stamp ink colors. These are the Pawsitively saturated ink pads, part of the Stamptember first release. We are going to ink blend some SEAFOAM and Cheeky inks to a background here. I have my background panel, and I'm applying SEAFOAM to the bottom part, and then Cheeky is going to be at the top. You'll notice that I concentrate the darker part of the ink towards the edge of the panel, and then I lighten it as I get towards the center. I love the ombre effect, as well as this is going to make it a lot easier to color over our stamped image. So it was very purposeful when I decided to do this. I also want to make mention of how amazing the Simon Says Stamp ink blending brushes work with the new ink colors. Look how beautifully they blend that ink right on the cardstock. I absolutely love this. Now I'm just going to ink blend that Cheeky ink right into the SEAFOAM. That looks beautiful. I love the finished panel. These colors are so pretty together. We're going to clean up our work surface really quick. And then the great thing about this stamp set, again, it is called You Are Next Level Amazing, is that it has a beautiful floral branch, a few little buds, individual stamps, and then lots and lots of sentiments, so you can really build whatever you want. I am going to place my floral along the left side of the panel, and then I'm going to build several sentiments out here to the side. Now I did go ahead and stamp Thank You for Being the Brightest Spot in My Day. I'm going to stamp that. I started with the SEAFOAM Simon Says Stamp ink, but ultimately I opted to stamp it again because I am using my MISTI with Surf ink, which is a little bit darker than SEAFOAM. And that is going to make it stand out quite a bit better. I personally love to have sentiments stamped in colorful ink. I think it really just ties into the background beautifully. So I am going to go ahead and place this background right in my MISTI. When I have where I want my sentiment to go, I'm going to remove the other stamps. Or actually, I'm going to stamp the flower first, pardon me. I did go ahead and line up this. Maybe I stamped it first. I cannot remember. I'm trying to get it lined up just where I want it to go. I want it to be close enough to the sentiment, and then I did go ahead and just ink up the sentiment. I thought I'd stamp that first. See how light it is? That is SEAFOAM. And while I really like it, I think it's just going to be not as crisp and dark as what I want it to be. I want this to be the boldest sentiment, if you will. So I am going to go ahead and use the Surf ink, and that instantly makes it so much better. So love, love, love that. I think it's fantastic. We're going to stamp our branch with clear embossing ink and then heat emboss with white embossing powder. That's going to give us a beautiful white outline image in order to color with our ZINC Clean Color Real Brush markers. This background is Bristol Smooth cardstock. So I ink blended right on the Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm stamping right on the Bristol Smooth cardstock, and then I'm going to stamp, emboss, and color. Anytime I'm using ZINC Clean Color Real Brush markers, I use Bristol Smooth cardstock. I want to get a really good impression. I did ink this up twice and stamp it just to make sure that all of the detail of this beautiful floral branch is transferred here onto my cardstock. I'm going to sprinkle it with the white embossing powder, and then we are going to color it really quick. Once I have that heat embossed, and I'm just grabbing that really quick, my background had stayed a little wet, so I actually hit it with a heat tool to dry the ink, and then I re-stamped it one more time and then added my embossing powder. It's not a new panel. I'm going to take ZIG Clean Color Real Brush markers in light green and yellow green and color in the stems and greenery. Now, when it is white embossed, I sometimes think the areas are can be a little hard to see in a detailed image like this. So I will start kind of small and just gradually work my way up. But look how beautiful the light green and yellow green look right over that ink blended background. I love this so that the background does not have to be white, and you still get the beautiful vibrant colors. Next, I'm taking a little light carmine and pink haze and coloring in some of the flowers. For many of the bigger flowers, I used light carmine and pink haze, making them a little bit lighter. And then the buds up near the top, we're going to incorporate quite a bit more carmine red. I love the peachy pink feel of these over that cheeky background, and I think it's really pretty. You'll also notice that the biggest flowers are right over that center section of the panel where it's lightest, meaning it's going to be so much easier to color over those because it's not going to kind of change the color of the ink underneath at all. So here's a little bit more greenery that I'm going to go ahead and fill in. I did try to kind of go up the whole stem and color in anything that was green. I referred to my stamp. You can see it over here on the right side of my screen. That way it was easier to kind of make sure that I was hitting every area I needed to with my markers. I want to also mention, with any of the Stamptember collaboration stamp sets like this one, when they're gone, they're gone. So if you love a collaboration, I highly recommend grabbing it right away because they tend to sell out rather quickly. Some of the more popular ones just do not last very long. So I always like to make mention of that so that you aren't disappointed. I'm adding the color here to the bigger floral petals, and you can see how great the light carmine, and pink haze match that cheeky ink. I think it's just a nice little shade darker and so pretty. Just have a few more little flowers to color. Now, I love the ink blended background. I love this floral and I like the sentiment. I'm going to add a couple more sentiments in a minute, but I was really still kind of contemplating what all I wanted to do there. And I thought the background's pretty, but I feel like it's just missing something. It needs a little something. One of my other favorite little hacks, because this card came together so fast, you guys. No masking required, so that helps make it very quick, and also no die cutting. So one of my other favorite little hacks here is to take a stencil, and I would say the more simple the stencil, the better. Circles, stripes, diagonal, maybe even a little plaid or some little hearts would be nice. And I'm going to take the Simon Says Stamp Medium Dot Stencil. This has been around for a while. My poor stencil has been used and abused. It's kind of probably seen some better days, but it still works great. It's just got some staining on it. I am going to tape my panel there to my stencil, and then I'm going to take my blending brush, and I'm not really going to apply a whole bunch more ink, but instead maybe just a little, but I want to tap off quite a bit of that over kind of on my glass mat. But I kind of want to go around the image. I don't want to really stencil directly over my sentiment or the floral, but I'm just going to very lightly kind of pounce that ink around. And when I lift it up there, I hope you can get that little peek of how subtle and pretty this is. So stenciling over an ink blended and stamped and colored background is very possible, and it is a great way to add instant interest to your background. Same with the cheeky ink. I'm going to add just a little bit more to my blending brush. It didn't have enough ink left on it, and I'm going to very lightly go down and up the panel depending on the ink color, and again being lighter in the center. I love the effect. I love how they're not perfect, and it really kind of just gives you that subtle interest in the background. Next, I'm going to take another sentiment from the stamp set and stamp that right. Actually, two other sentiments right here on the background. You are seriously the best. I, of course, stamped with cheeky ink right there. And then closer to the big sentiment, we are going to stamp Another one that some people just make your life better. I'm a huge fan of multiple sentiments on a card, and this one has so many good ones, I found a way to utilize several. I'm going to splatter a little white here to distress the panel. I will tell you there were a couple spots that were over the text that I really didn't like. And so when it was dry, I re-stamped those areas because a big blob went right on the word some, and I was so upset. But I was able to fix it. I waited till this dried. It dried pretty quick. I went back to my MISTI and re-stamped both of those smaller sentiments, and that fixed it just perfectly. Once this is completely dry, we are going to adhere this to a white top fold card base. I want to mention Simon Says Stamp offers pre-cut and scored card bases in A2 size for top fold and side fold, slimline size, and mini slimline. It makes card making super quick and easy. I'm going to add a little bit of glue and add a little red heart accent. You know me, a little touch of red to finish off my card design, and my first card featuring a collaboration stamp set for Simon Says Stamp Stamptember 2021 is all finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this coloring over an ink blended background card. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring Stamptember 2021 products from Simon Says Stamp that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.